Tonight, we peel back the layers of a life that seemed perfect from the outside, only to reveal the festering secrets and silent screams within. Are you ready to see what happens when the very foundations of your home, your family, and your sanity crumble under the weight of a truth so terrible it could only be born in the heart of a person you thought you knew? Summer of 2012 in Namyangju, South Korea. A man in his early 30s, Mr. Jung, was at the beginning of what should have been the happiest chapter of his life. He was a newlywed, stepping into his new home. The apartment, a small place in the suburbs of Seoul, was his wife's, a detail that had felt insignificant at first. He had imagined a quiet, blissful life with her. He pictured late nights filled with laughter, lazy mornings in bed, and the comforting predictability of a shared life. But from the moment he crossed the threshold, a cold silence settled over him. He was told the truth only after the wedding vows were sealed. The tenant wasn't some stranger, it was his sister-in-law, a person he had met only once, a fleeting glimpse on a day meant to be all about him and his bride. She was a ghost. He remembered her from the wedding, impossibly beautiful, with a serene face and eyes that seemed to hold a world of secrets. So many people had turned to stare at her, drawn in by her quiet, mysterious aura. But he had barely spoken to her. She was just a detail in the background. Now she was an unwelcome cohabitant in his newlywed home. He had objected, his voice rising in disbelief. How can I live with my sister-in-law? What about our privacy? I can't even walk around freely. His wife's response was chilling in its casualness. It's fine, she said, her voice flat. She never leaves her room anyway. His wife had been adamant about moving into this specific apartment, even though it meant a hellish commute for him. She insisted they had to leave their current rental to start their new life in a place she owned. He had, with a sigh, agreed. He had been under the impression that she was renting it out to someone else. It was an innocuous detail, one he hadn't given a second thought. But it was the very first lie he was told, the initial hairline fracture in the foundation of his marriage. And she didn't. Her door was always closed. The only sound from her room was a profound, suffocating silence. He was a stranger in his own home, living with a woman who felt more like a myth than a person. The apartment felt like a tomb, with a single room acting as a coffin. He felt an urge, a desperate need to break through the silence, to make her real. This is the human instinct to connect, to banish the unknown. But sometimes it's safer to leave the shadows in place. One evening, he tried. He ordered pizza and chicken, thinking of it as an olive branch, a bridge to normalcy. With a forced smile, he walked to her door. "Hey sis, I ordered pizza. Want to come out and eat with us?" He waited, his heart thumping in his chest. No sound. He tried again, his voice softer, more pleading. "I got beer too. Let's have a drink." Still nothing. Just the silence, a cold, unyielding wall. Then his wife appeared, her eyes wide with a cold fury he had never witnessed before. She grabbed his arm, her fingers digging into his skin, and pulled him back to their room. "Are you out of your mind? Why are you doing this?" Her voice was a low, desperate hiss. "What are you so angry about?" he demanded, shocked by her reaction. "I just wanted to eat together." She immediately recoiled, her face flushing with guilt. "I'm not angry. Just eat your food. Leave me alone." Her reaction was a gut punch. It was clear she was hiding something terrible, a secret that had burrowed its way into their marriage before it had even begun. He lay in bed that night, the uneaten pizza on the table, a testament to his failed attempt at connection. Outside, a thunderstorm raged, the rain pounding against the window like 1,000 tiny fists. It was the only honest sound in the house. Later that night, the rain had eased to a low, mournful murmur. He got up to close the living room window, and that's when he heard it. A faint, unearthly sound from behind his sister-in-law's door. It was a guttural whisper, a slithering low-frequency sound that raised the hairs on his arms. It wasn't human. Was it his imagination? He held his breath, creeping closer, pressing his ear to the wood. And then the sound stopped, abruptly. He knew, with a certainty that chilled him to his core, that it had heard him. It knew he was there. A thin sliver of light from the bottom of the door confirmed she was awake. "Sis?" he whispered, his voice trembling. "Are you with someone?" The answer came in the form of a laugh. Not a human laugh, but a mocking, hollow sound that echoed with malice. It wasn't the sound of joy, but of pure, ancient evil. The doorknob began to rattle violently, the metal groaning as if something was desperate to get out. He stumbled back, a scream caught in his throat. His wife rushed out of their bedroom. "What are you doing? Why aren't you sleeping?" She pulled him away, her face a mask of frantic denial. "Honey, there's something in her room," he cried. "There's nothing there. Go to sleep," she insisted, pushing him back towards their room. He knew better. He saw the genuine, raw terror in her eyes, a fear so profound it superseded her need for secrecy. He couldn't sleep. The house was a monument to a lie, a carefully constructed illusion. He noticed the strange talisman on her door, a small paper charm meant to ward off evil spirits, but it only made his blood run colder. He had to know. He crept out of the room into the suffocating darkness of the apartment. He began to search, a frantic, desperate scavenger hunt for the truth. He finally found it in a shadowy corner near the laundry room, a large old earthenware jar, partially hidden by clutter. It looked ancient, mysterious, like something from a forgotten ritual. He knew instinctively that this was it. This was the heart of the secret. His hands trembled as he lifted the heavy lid. Inside, he found a piece of coarse, yellow hemp cloth. A strange choice. He reached for the cloth, and at that very moment he heard a sound, a door creaking open. His heart leapt into his throat. He spun around, but her door was still shut tight. The fear was playing tricks on his mind, twisting his senses. He took a deep, shuddering breath and pulled the cloth back. Inside the jar, a single, horrifying object, a pair of pink rubber shoes, the kind worn by children. They were pristine, unworn, an impossible burst of color in the gray, suffocating darkness. "Why are these here?" he whispered. Then, a presence behind him. He spun around. She was there, not standing, but sitting at the dining table, devouring the pizza and chicken in the darkness, a hungry animal. "Sis?" he asked, his voice shaking. She looked up, her eyes wide, wild, and completely inhuman. Her gaze settled on the pink shoes in his hand, and from her throat came that same low, guttural voice from before. "So you hid my shoes here, you wicked bitch." The words were like a physical blow. She moved, a terrifying, unnatural crawl across the floor towards him. She took the shoes from his trembling hand, hugged them to her chest, and began to laugh, a sound that was pure, unfiltered madness. His wife, awakened by the noise, ran out screaming. She was holding a large piece of the same hemp cloth. With a primal yell, she threw it over her sister, who screamed as if on fire, twisting and contorting in agony. The in-laws arrived shortly after, and the sister-in-law was eventually bound to her bed with the cloth, a writhing, moaning mass of flesh and fear. The truth finally poured from his wife, a torrent of tears and broken words. She was in high school. She was so bright, so happy, but she started getting bullied. She was so alone. We didn't see it. We thought she was fine. We were so stupid. Then came the real horror. She started talking to herself, laughing at nothing, and then one night she left and came back wearing those shoes. When she put them on, she was different, a different person entirely. She wasn't my sister anymore. They tried everything, doctors, medicine, nothing worked. A shaman told them the truth. The shoes, she said, they're not just shoes, they're a vessel, a home for the entity that lives inside her. It was born from her pain, from the torment. Hide the shoes in the jar, cover her with the hemp cloth, and the entity will be contained. He looked at the bound figure on the bed, a person and a monster at war. They took her for psychiatric help, and the doctors confirmed it. The extreme trauma had caused her mind to fracture, to create another personality to bear the unbearable pain. And though she is getting better, the other personality still whispers from deep inside her. "You hid my shoes here," it says. The vessel is gone, but the entity is still there, a constant threat, waiting for its shoes, waiting for its home. This story is a haunting, agonizing testament to the power of human pain. We all have our own pink rubber shoes, the traumas we bury, the memories we hide, the secrets we keep locked away, but they are never truly gone. They linger in the shadows, growing stronger in the dark, and one day, when you least expect it, they will come knocking, asking to be let out. What will you do? Will you face the monster you've created, or will you be consumed by it? Enjoy your fear.